The Planning Board recently held a public hearing to review a proposal that would replace the long vacant building at 100 West Street with a 3-story multifamily complex consisting of 189 units. Under zoning changes approved at the annual town meeting in May, the project is allowed by right but must still undergo the town's site plan review process before a building permit can be issued. However, the developer is seeking a waiver on its parking requirements, a request that has drawn significant pushback from the community. Municipal producer Yu Xiaoyuan has the details.
Zoning requires 1 parking space per unit, meaning 189 spaces for this project. Developer Greystar is seeking a waiver to reduce that number to 186, saying the freed up spaces would allow for additional open space. That request has raised concerns not only from residents but also from the police department. In an email to the Planning Board, Police Chief John Schutler compared the project to Kendrick and Charles River Landing, questioning whether the proposed parking would be sufficient. Greystar representatives said parking would not be free. Tenants could choose to lease spaces, whether one, several, or none.
That will incentivize folks to own fewer cars and rely on these alternative modes. Bicycle racks, as Zach mentioned, will be plentiful on the site and within the building. Of course, on site there will be other amenities that allow residents to remain on site and not necessarily go off site to do certain things.
The site would include storage for up to 189 bicycles. And, citing the site's proximity to the commuter rail station, Greystar said they expect parking to be underutilized, pointing to statistics from similar properties they manage.
The broader comp set that we were leaning on here is transit-oriented within 2 miles to either a T station or a commuter rail station. We are seeing about 0.75 to a 0.85 utilization ratio, so we feel like we still have some comfortability here in terms of that.
When asked about guest parking, Greystar representatives suggested using unleased spaces on site or meter spots on Highland Avenue. That lack of a formal plan left many residents worried about spillover parking on neighborhood streets.
About guest parking, I was a little brusque on the way that was handled. How, it seemed like, there's going to be some guest parking, but they'll go here or there or there. No, they won't want to park in the paid spaces. I'd park in the free parking along Mellon, Morton, Cary.
The developer also submitted a traffic study conducted by consulting firm MDM. The study found the project would generate about 81 vehicle trips during the morning peak hour and 102 during the evening peak. At the hearing, MDM consultant Robert Michaud described the project as a modest traffic generator. The study also assessed traffic at 4 intersections.
We've included the West and Highland Avenue signal as part of this evaluation, as well as the existing driveways for the facility and the 3 side streets, West, Morton, and Mellon streets.
The study found no change in performance. 3 intersections stayed at grade A, while West Street remained at C.
A D or better operation is considered acceptable and a goal, frankly, in Massachusetts. These, in every case, work at C or better. So there's really no capacity constraint per se.
Some board members and residents questioned why additional intersections were not included in the study.
The traffic study did not focus on the intersection of West Street and Hillside, which is a very difficult intersection and one I believe has had a fair number of accidents.
We would typically include locations that sustain a much higher level of traffic impact, 50 vehicles an hour, or 100 vehicles per hour, or 5% change in volume. West Street is not expected to serve as a primary route to or from this particular site. We expect that volume to be fewer than 10 per hour. In fact, depending on which direction we're talking about on West Street, it could be less than 5 per hour.
Issues were also raised about the demolition process.
In a different neighborhood in Needham, construction vibration alone triggered ongoing rodent problems where there are no issues prior to that. Outside grills will bring vermin, however you want to say it, and these should be eliminated. Dust during demolition and prior to construction is a health issue. Although all of the area residents will be impacted, and strong dust control measures should be part of the approval.
The hearing will continue at the board's next meeting on October 7th. For the Needham Channel News, I'm Yu Xiaoyuan.